Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Béjar, thank you so much. Thank you for the time that you've given Senator Blumenthal's staff, my staff, as you've met with us, and for being so open when you met with Senator Blumenthal and I last week. I really appreciate this. As Senator Blumenthal said, and we have worked on this for years, and he built the timeline out going to 2021. But the work we were doing, looking at big tech and looking at some of the problems, the lack of privacy, the frustration of people not being able to control who had access to their virtual you, is what led us to this point to begin to look at what was happening to our children. And as I told you in our meeting, the day we had that first hearing, looking at what was happening online with children, it was like the floodgates opened. And we started hearing from moms and dads, not only in Tennessee and not only in Connecticut, but across the country, who were saying, "Can I please tell you my story?" The reason they did this is because their hearts were breaking. Their children had committed suicide. Their children had met a drug dealer. Their children had met a pedophile. Their child had met a sex trafficker. They had been exposed to cyberbullying and had committed suicide. They were looking up ways to commit suicide. See, there are laws in the physical world that protect children from all of this. But online, it has been the Wild West. And as my colleagues have said, we have fought this army of lobbyists for years. Big tech has proven they are completely incapable of governing themselves, of setting up rules, of having guidelines, of designing for safety. And it is so important that we move forward with this. Now, one thing I will add, and I think is so important for your being here and for our colleagues that weren't a part of what we were doing, pardon me, in 2021, Mr. Mazzari, when he came before us as the CEO of Instagram, indicated, indicated they were taking steps. But we find out they were not. We find out from the advice and the awareness that you provided Mark Zuckerberg and Mr. Masseri. What did they do with that? They made a conscious decision to ignore your advice and guidance and use our kids as the product. The longer they're online, the richer that data is. The richer the data is, the more money they make. So they have monetized what comes from our children being addicted to social media. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.